we're going to go live now, and thank you all for joining us. I'm Will Dupree in the KXAN Live studio. In just a few moments, the Hays County Sheriff is going to talk about the new charges facing a registered sex offender related to an ongoing investigation. Deputies there say they found another victim in this particular case, so let's listen in as that begins.
You guys making the time to come down here today. It's a very important case, and I'll start off. My first name is Anthony, and I'll spell it A-N-T-H-O-N-Y. Last name is Hippolito, H-I-P-O-L-I-T-O. I'm a deputy with the Hays County Sheriff's Office, Public Information Office, and with me today is Sergeant Mark Opiela. It's M-A-R-K. If I spell it wrong, correct me. O-P-I-E-L-A. He is the sergeant over the CID, the detectives, and he is has knowledge of the case. He's been working it since July the 3rd. Or July the 2nd, I apologize. All right, so a couple things. So the Hays County Sheriff's Office put a press release out on July the 6th in reference to the arrest of Diego Cortez, in reference to an incident that happened on July the 2nd over in Kyle, Texas. At that time, Mr. Cortez was charged with harboring a runaway, which is a Class A misdemeanor, and traffic a child to engage in sexual conduct, which is a first-degree felony. Those were the charges at that time. We have updates to the case, and I'll get to those updates in a minute, but I kind of want to rehash the press release that we put out on July 6th. So most of you guys covered it, but I kind of want to rehash it for the public that's watching via Facebook Live. That way they have firsthand knowledge of what that call entailed. So on the early morning hours of July the 2nd, the Hays County Sheriff's Office deputies responded to a residence over in Kyle, Texas. That call came in at about 3:30 in the morning. Family members called in reference to a 10-year-old female who had run away and or was missing. Our patrol deputies responded and were able to make contact with the mom, and were able to determine via cell phone pings that the child was located at a residence or in San Antonio, not a particular residence, but it was located in San Antonio. At that time, mom had made numerous attempts to call the child to try to get her to answer the phone. Several attempts were made. Phone was never answered. At one point, mom continued to call, and she finally answered. At that time, she had told mom that she was on the way back home, right? So our patrol deputies left the residence and basically set up a perimeter around the neighborhood, and just to wait. We had no description of what car she was in. We didn't know who she was coming home with, but the chances of her being with someone that she wasn't supposed to be with were pretty high. So our deputies did a really good job and were patient, surrounded the neighborhood. Mom received a call and said, "Hey, I'm back in the neighborhood." Before the mom received that call, the patrol deputies observed a white Volkswagen SUV drive into the neighborhood. Again, we didn't have a car description, but that late at night, that time of night, that was about 4:30 in the morning. There's not a lot of vehicle traffic, right? So our deputies were able to spot that car. Mom received a call from the daughter saying she was back in the area of her neighborhood. A short time later, that same Volkswagen left the neighborhood, and deputies observed that car again. The deputies conducted a traffic stop, an investigative traffic stop, to try to determine if this was the person that dropped off the 10-year-old child. At that time, officers identified Diego Alejandro Cortez, a white male, 4'8" of 99. They quickly learned that he was a registered sex offender out of San Antonio, Texas. And after a brief conversation, they detained Mr. Cortez because he essentially told officers that he was with a 10-year-old female. At that time, our patrol deputies called our detective units out to the scene. Sergeant Opiela was one that was contacted, and they came out to the scene to start working this investigation. They quickly learned, after a brief conversation with Mr. Cortez, he essentially admitted to being with the 10-year-old child and admitted to having sexual contact and or sexual intercourse with the 10-year-old female. As you can imagine, there's a lot of evidence that needs to be seized, and so they seized cell phones, or they seized a cell phone, they seized the vehicle, and a couple other things, and the investigation continued, right? So since that time, at that time, that's when Mr. Cortez was booked into jail for those two charges that I mentioned here just a short time ago: harboring a runaway, and trafficking a child to engage in sexual conduct. So what we've learned during those brief interviews with Mr. Cortez, we learned that he was making contact with his victims via Snapchat. And those two screen names that we sent out are still the same ones: D for Deegs and then Slow Bass 4367. We sent those profile pics back on July the 6th, but again, we can send those again if necessary. So again, the detectives learned that he was using Snapchat to contact his victims. So as soon as we learned that he was making contact via electronic means, our detectives again did a really good job and have been doing a good job. They executed several different search warrants, and one of those was on his iPhone. So as a result of that search warrant, they were able to discover several pictures, several videos, all of who our detectives believe were young females. And being that we had already talked or already had met the 10-year-old female, obviously detectives could determine some of the young girls that were on these videos were the 10-year-old female, right? All right, so a forensic interview was conducted of the 10-year-old female, and she essentially admitted to knowing Mr. Cortez, admitting that they had met on Snapchat and that they had sexual intercourse on more than one occasion. The evidence that was collected off the cell phones basically showed where they were having sex, basically the geotag, the GPS, and they were all timestamped. So they were able to determine that on July the 2nd, for sure, that he had picked up the 10-year-old female, drove back to San Antonio, and then drove her back home to Kyle. He essentially admitted to having sexual intercourse with her at his residence in San Antonio, and with the evidence that was received off the iPhones showed the GPS geotag at his residence in San Antonio. So everything's kind of been corroborated, not only with Diego's confession, but also with the geotag and the videos and the pictures that were on Mr. Cortez's cell phones, and then the admission from the 10-year-old female, right? So that's three things that kind of corroborates his actions, Mr. Cortez's actions. Also, through that investigation on July the 3rd, one of our detectives was able to identify another victim via the cell phone, the pictures and the videos. He was able to identify a 13-year-old victim from Cibolo, Texas, and that has since been learned since the press release that we put out on July 6th. So that is part of the updates that we're putting out today. So the contact was made with the 13-year-old victim and the mother, and a forensic interview was conducted on that 13-year-old victim in Cibolo, Texas. Obviously, those take a while to occur, and once we got those transcripts back and were able to watch those, our detectives learned that the 13-year-old basically also admitted to knowing Mr. Cortez and also admitted to them having sexual intercourse for quite some time. That particular female, 13-year-old female, essentially said that she had known Mr. Cortez since March of 2023 and that they had sexual intercourse on more than one occasion, the last time being about June 30th or so. So, again, Mr. Cortez was again interviewed after we received information from the 13-year-old female. He was re-interviewed by our detectives, and again, he essentially admitted to everything that the 13-year-old victim said during her forensic interview. Again, the evidence that we received off Mr. Cortez's iPhone also corroborates from the pictures and the videos of this 13-year-old female of them having sexual intercourse. Again, the geotag, the GPS correlates with the locations that the 13-year-old victim said they were at, and then the timestamp as well. So again, now we have another victim, a 13-year-old victim from essentially the Cibolo, Texas area. So that is, again, part of the update here today, is that we have found another victim since now that we know that he was having sex with this 13-year-old female as early as March. And through our forensic interview with the 10-year-old, the original victim, we have also learned because of GPS, geotag pictures, and video that he was having sex with this 10-year-old here in Hays County on June the 22nd, I believe. Again, the pictures and the geotag of those acts being performed. Again, he recorded most of these acts that he did with these young minors. And again, when you do that, your iPhone automatically geotags those locations. So with the information we received from the 10-year-old female again, her having sex with him prior to July the 2nd, everything was corroborated. So hence, after getting that information, after reviewing all the evidence, we have updated and have charged Mr. Cortez with a couple different things. Obviously, on his phone, he was in possession of child pornography. He has since been charged with 10 counts of possession of child pornography, they're all felony 3s. And also, the other charge is sex abuse of child continuous, victim under 14, which is a first-degree felony. And it's continuous because it happened over more than 30 days with both victims. So that's how we're able to make continuous. And if I'm incorrect on anything, please correct me. I want to make sure everybody gets the right information. So as you can imagine, this is a very difficult case for everybody involved. It's very sensitive, and quite frankly, it's very brave of these young females to come forward and tell their story. It's probably not something they wanted to do, but again, very, very brave. I also want to commend not only our deputies who responded to the scene that night, the contact they made with mom and the things they did on scene, the wherewithal to set up a perimeter and wait for the young lady to get back home. We're able to find the car, make the traffic stop, ask the appropriate questions, and for them to call our criminal investigation unit to the scene pretty much right away. Essentially, since July the 2nd, at about 4 in the morning when our detectives got there, they have been working this case pretty much nonstop. That case was on a Sunday morning, and they probably spent 20 hours that day working on that case, going through every evidence, making contact with Mr. Cortez, having those interviews. So again, these are not easy cases to work. When you're having to watch the evidence to get this stuff, it's not something these guys want to watch. So I want to commend Sergeant Opiella and his team. They have done an amazing job working this case. But this case is ongoing, right? There's many, many pictures of several victims on Mr. Cortez's phone. At this time, we're not able to identify a lot of these potential young minors. They all look very, very young. So this is another reason we're having this update, we're putting this back out here. We have Mr. Cortez's picture up here on the screen. We know there's more victims. I know it's very hard for these young females to come forward. We encourage, we're here to help. We want to get you justice. What Mr. Cortez is doing is sick, it's evil, and he needs to spend the rest of his life in prison. So that's another big reason why we're doing this. We know there's more victims. Please reach out to your parents. Please reach out to counselors, your teachers, whoever you need to get the help. I promise you the Hays County Sheriff's Office will not leave you by yourself. We will take care of you. We have victim services available with the Sheriff's Office as well. Also in the back, I want to commend our crime scene folks. They're on call all the time as well, and they have to come to these scenes. They have to process the evidence. So without them, this case would not be possible as well. So I want to thank our crime scene personnel back in the back as well. They have played a huge part in making this case where it's at today. So again, this is an ongoing case. We're not sure when it's going to end, right? Because we want to find every victim that's out there and make sure Cortez is held in prison as long as possible, because what he's doing is simply not right. With that, if I forgot anything, please help me out. But with that, I'll open up to questions.
How many images do you guys get? Hundreds? Dozens? Maybe just saying.
Sure. So because we don't know the identity of some of the individuals that are on these pictures, and some of them closely resemble individuals who may or may not be right at the 17, 18-year-old mark, I'm not able to say which ones are actually illegal images. What I can say, and our hope is that if we can identify additional victims who are out there and we can essentially put their age or their face to that picture, then we can potentially identify additional victims. But at this point, because there's so many images, I'd say that the counts that are filed is considerably low when you account for the number of total pictures that are on the device.
is it believed he was forcing these minors in some way or form to perform the sexual acts?
Yeah,
What
so-
are they telling you?
Yeah, so I and that's a great question because I should have brought it up. So again, when I mentioned that he was meeting these victims on Snapchat, he was portraying himself as a young teen as well, right? So he would alter, he would use filters and alter his image. But at that point, he would just make contact using the Snap Map feature on Snapchat and would be able to find these young females. So he would essentially start grooming them at that time, develop a relationship, have back and forth, text or private messages until he was able to earn their trust, and then he would go and meet them at that time. While we're on that, and another big reason we want to have this update is we want to encourage all parents, if you're going to give your child an iPhone or Android and give them the opportunity to explore on the World Wide Web or download applications, whether it be Snapchat or Facebook, or there's an entire list. There's so many apps these days that you're able to reach people that I can't list them all. But if you're going to give your child a phone, do everything in your power to monitor your kids' online app usage, web usage. There's a variety of apps that are out there today that will allow parents to monitor their kids' activity. Or just pick up your kid's phone, know the code on it, go through it on a daily basis. I was at a conference last week, and I want to put this website out here because it's a very good website, and it has a variety of resources for parents. It's got tips and tricks of every application. It talks about every third-party applications out there. It talks about how if kids want to hide certain things on apps, there's tips and tricks for parents to find them. And that application is called catfishcops.com. It's a detective that works these cases up in Garland, Texas. He does a really great job of working these cases, and it was a very good class. So when he started talking about that, I felt it was important to get that out to our folks here in this area. Because it's a very quick and easy read, and it allows parents to learn and research as much as possible. Because if you're going to give your kid a phone, please do everything you can to make sure your child is not a victim. Yes, sir.
Kind of touched on it for a sec, but I was hoping maybe you could just talk about how, from an emotional standpoint, a lot of you guys are parents yourselves to
Yeah.
investigate something like this and go after a gentleman like this. Just to touch on that.
Yeah, so I'll talk about it from a parent standpoint. I've got 2 children as well. So yeah, a case like this hits home. And I go back and forth with giving my young daughter Snapchat and TikTok and other things like that. And at times I've given it to her, but you can tell how it affects her, right? So I've taken it away and I've given it back to her. So because I know what's out there and I know the evil that lurks out there, I'm very, very hesitant to give my daughter the ability to be a victim. But again, when I do, I download every app that I can to be able to monitor. I have never investigated a child pornography case, so I can't speak to that, but I'll let Sergeant Opiello because he's been dealing with it. He's been a sergeant for a while.
Yeah, so just like Deputy Polito said, it's important that we monitor children's phones, that we have the apps and whatnot to be able to see the things that they've been doing. I think it's important to note in this case, this isn't a case of mistaken identity. It wasn't as if Mr. Cortez didn't understand who he was meeting up with. It wasn't a case where he all of a sudden realized that this was a child and he didn't, in fact, meet up with him. This is a case where he knew who he was meeting up with. He knew that the individual he'd been communicating with was a child, and it didn't stop him from meeting up with him. So I think it's important to note that this isn't a mistaken identity case. He knew exactly who he was meeting up with, and he, in fact, searched for those people for the purpose of eventually meeting up with them. And this was some sort of thrill that was important enough to him to follow through with.
Could you touch on how just difficult these cases are, these kind of cases are?
Sure. In my career, I've worked a number of child sex cases. And this one is no different. This is unfortunate for everybody that's involved. This is a very traumatic event for the children. This is a traumatic event for the Cortez family, who's now having to understand and wrap their head around the fact that he was out committing these types of crimes. So this is not an easy case on for anybody that's involved. As a parent myself, I'm just like Deputy Polito. My child has a cell phone. I imagine that most kids shortly after they're born are issued a cell phone. But it's important that we as parents have an obligation to monitor those devices. We have a responsibility to ensure the safety of our children. And when we fail to do that, unfortunately, evil is out there, and we're seeing evil in this case. And evil will find our kids if we don't do our job.
Anything else you guys can say about his motive for doing this, especially once he met with the minors? Because sadly, it seems, like you guys mentioned, the sexual encounters were more than once. So even after the minor knew, hey, this is not a little kid, was he extorting them in some way, or what is the investigation revealing about that? Because they kept meeting with him. Were
So-
they afraid of him?
So some of those details I can't release. What I can tell you is he would go pick them up. Obviously, along the way, it would be discovered that he wasn't, in fact, who he portrayed himself to be initially. However, these victims kind of described being in a situation where they'd now been picked up by him because he said, "Let's go have some snacks," or "Let's go to the store," or "Let's go do this." And now you imagine you're a 13-year-old kid who's been picked up by somebody. You're in a town that you're unfamiliar with. What are you going to do? So again, I'm not going to get into the specifics of exactly how everything played out in the vehicle or at the residence or whatever, but I can say it was a situation where, unfortunately, these victims found themselves in situations that they had never been in. They didn't know their way out, and unfortunately, from there, he took advantage of opportunities, and that's what this case is all about. This was taking advantage of an opportunity that presented itself. So the way that he found them was through the maps on Snapchat. So when you use Snapchat and your location services or your location data is on, that's what he would use. So he would search certain areas. In particular, with our victim, he searched the Kyle area. Once he identified a child victim there, he would friend that individual. Through that, because of communication with that individual, it would then make suggestions for other friends. And so then at that point, he would sort of open the Pandora's box with the number of kids that are on Snapchat, and so he would just link up with friends, and he would, or have friends through Snapchat based on the map data, and then he would communicate with them that way.
He was in San Antonio. They all sort of like a bigger area. He might have been outside of the Hays.
Yeah, so there's some things ongoing with some search warrants on devices and cellular data and other things that we are still working on to map some locations. Again, we are aware that at one time he lived in Abilene, back in 2020. I'm aware that for 8 months to a year he lived in Kyle in 2022, and he moved to San Antonio in December of 2023. It could encompass the whole state of Texas for all we know at this point. Obviously, as you can tell, he was not afraid to drive an hour to Kyle, pick up a 10-year-old victim, drive her back to San Antonio. So I would suspect we would anticipate victims across the state.
Right now, anything about him in jail that you want to emphasize? This is like court hearing, that type of stuff?
I don't think the court hearings have been set. Again, these guys have been doing an amazing job, and they're going to continue to actively work this case. And as you heard, there's several search warrants that are pending, and there's going to be, as we get updates to be able to release, we want to get that out to you because, again, we want that picture everywhere, anywhere and everywhere, because, again, from what they have seen on cell phones, they know there are more victims. And since he did live in the Kyle area in 2022, again, there's potentially several more victims just in the Hays County area, much less in San Antonio. We'll take one more question if anybody has anything else.
We know that he was a repeat offender. So what measures are in place to make sure that somebody like Diego is not doing this over and over again?
You know his bond conditions. So he can leave it in that bond.
Yeah, so he's not made bond. There are some recommendations for some bond conditions that are in place. I can't speak to exactly how that'll play out. That'll be up to the magistrate. We have put some measures in place to try and prevent him from engaging in these crimes again. It didn't stop him last time. He was a registered sex offender already. So
What year? When, the year? You say he was registered sex offender prior?
he registered in May of this year. I think it was May the 2nd or around that time of this year. I will say there's evidence both through videos and photos that he was engaging in this behavior shortly after he bonded out from his original. So I don't know that his whatever the consequence was that led to his registration or however he pled out, I don't know that had a significant impact on preventing him from committing these acts any further.
Just for clarification, back in 2020, he did live in Abilene. 2022, he was in the Kyle area, and you said December is when he moved to San Antonio, meaning December 2022?
December 2022, yes, ma'am. He moved to San Antonio.
Again, thank you guys so much for coming out and taking the time. Please help us get this word out. Thank you.
Thanks for sticking with us on KXAN Live. Will Dupree back in the KXAN Live studio. We just heard from two different members of the Hays County Sheriff's Office talking about additional charges being filed against a registered sex offender. He was previously charged for harboring a runaway and for child sexual abuse. Now there's additional charges, 10 in fact, of possessing child pornography and for sex abuse of a child continuous after finding another victim who was under the age of 14. This is the suspect in this case right here. You see Diego Cortez. He's 24 years old. Deputies are wanting to share his photo because they believe that there are additional children victims out there who might have been abused by him. So if you want to find out more information about the history of this case and how to get in touch with the Hays County Sheriff's Office, we do have that information for you over on KXAN.com. So please check that out whenever you can. Once again, I'm Will Dupree here in the KXAN Live studio. We'll see you back here at another time with other updates, so please stay with us and check out our website for all the latest on this case as well as other top stories of the day. Thanks again for watching. I'm Will Dupree. We will see you back here at another time. Stay safe and careful out there, everybody. Take care.